Next, now in the last session, we stopped at Shloka 3. Pitr bhuktan najat viryat jato annenaiva vardhate dehaha sonnamayo natma prakcha urdhvam tad abhavatah. So that is what we saw in the last session. Now, if we are not satisfied with this explanation, Vidyaranya Swamiji gives one more explanation to say why we are not the body. So that is what in the next shloka we will see that shloka. Purva janmanya sanyetat janma sampadayet katam bhavi janmanya san karma na bunjiteha sanchitam. Purva janmani asat etad janma sampadayet katam. If this body is not there in the Purva Janma, it is an asat. If the body is asat, it didn't exist in the Purva Janma, okay? How did this Janma came? Etan Janma Sampadayet Katam. So many things we are doing in this Janma, from where did it come? This is one question. Then he asks another question. Bhavi Janman Asan. Suppose this body is not there, obviously this body is not there in the Bhavi Janma, in the Bhavishyat Kala, in the next Janma. Iha Sanchitam Karma Na Punjita. You collected so much karma here. How are you going to consume it? So this is what Vidyaranya Swami is saying here. This has some two fundamental principles about Sanatana Dharma. Then we will understand this is very, very typical only to Sanatana Dharma. In Semitic religions, we don't talk about this. This is about karma, Purva Janma and Punarjanma. So this Punarjanma is a concept only for Sanatana Dharma. Whereas if you take the other Semitic religions, for example, Christians, you have one Janma, and in one Janma you just have a judgment day. That's all. Whatever you do, we'll take a final call and that's the end of it. That is how Semitic religions are. Now this is not necessarily a fair game. I don't think this is a very interesting proposition. To understand it, we will take an example. See, there are villages. In village they have these festivals, Rath Yatra hai, village festivals. The whole village comes and then participates. Now, typically what we see in those villages, typically there will be one person who will come and spread a big cloth. And in the cloth he will keep soap, mirror, comb, pen, all that he will keep. And he will say 10 rupees, 3 rings. You try. You just throw the ring. If it falls on the soap is yours. If it falls on the mirror is yours. Now look at, to even get one soap, we need at least 3 times, 3 chances minimum. Because first time when we do, we may overdo it. It will fall at the back. Second time, perhaps we will adjust the speed a little bit. We would have adjusted it too much. So it would have fallen at the front. So even to get a soap, we have 3 opportunities, 3 chances. And how can you say you have only one chance? Whatever you do, that's it. That is, I don't agree to it. It's a very unfair game to me. If that is what life is, it is absolutely a worthless life. Please give me more opportunities. I will try. I will perfect myself. I will improve myself. There is a learning that will happen. See, in all these modern video games, that is exactly what is happening. They try it, first time they don't get it. Again they try it, second time, third time they become better. So everything has multiple chance. How can you leave my life for a simple one-time event? This is like a Russian roulette wheel. You just rotate it, wherever it stops, that is it. So this idea of single life, I do not understand how people accept that. It is a matter of fairness. It is a matter of fairness that give me more opportunity. Maybe I didn't do it well this time, or I learnt some part of it, I did not learn the other part of it. So this Punarjanma is a great concept. So the first principle is Punarjanma, which means I existed in some Janma, I existed in the second Janma, I existed in the third Janma. So what exists is I, not the body. So it goes and goes and goes, and I feel it is only a fair game. Any other game is an unfair game. Give you one chance. There are problems with this one life business. Suppose half an hour before death I did something very atrocious to someone. Who is going to be responsible for it? Can I go scot free? How are people going to actually address that problem? So this as you sow, you will reap is a fundamental principle of Sanatana Dharma. You are responsible for what you do. That's what happens in Bhagavad Gita also very nicely. In chapter 5 there is a 14th sloka. Na kartrutvam na karmani loke sujati prabhu. He says don't bring God into the equation at all. God is not there. You are doing things, at best he may take an account and then write in a register what are all the things that you have done. So this idea that in one Janma everything will be done is unacceptable. And the idea that I am responsible for what I do, I think it's a fair game. So this is the first principle. Now you need a second principle. If this is true, then where is the continuity? How are you going to do the continuity? So that is where the whole idea of karma comes. Karma is again this very beautiful concept. We have what is called Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma and Agami karma. Many people don't understand what it is. Let us talk about Prarabdha karma. You know, it is like this. Let us say there is like a big tank in which there is so much of karma, which we have accumulated. For whatever we have done, we have accumulated a lot of karma. Imagine it is in a big tank. Suppose you have a bag and then you just dip it into that and take it out, and the complexion of what you have in that bag, which is the one which will manufacture a body at a particular place at appropriate time. It is a function of what is that prarabdha karma. That's why it's called prarabdha karma. It has started already. Moment you took a janma, manufactured a body, the karma has started and it rolls. So this is like, as they say in all the scriptures, it is like an arrow which has been left. You cannot catch it back. It has to go and hit the target. There is no mechanism by which you can take it back. In the same way, you know, Chabi Deke, we leave this toy on the floor. Until the spring unwinds, the toy will keep on going. What can we do about it? So therefore, that is prarabdha karma. Now many people don't understand this concept. So if something that we have taken to completely exhaust it in one janma and accordingly manufacture a body, a family, a position, a place, everything, then everything that happens in this janma is because of that. We should not worry, why is it happening to me? All that is happening because that's why you came. So prarabdha karma is about past, about which we cannot do anything. So there is absolutely no point in lamenting about what is happening in this janma. Because the key has been given, the toy is running now. Until that key completely goes, the toy has to run. So that is the prarabdha karma. Then what happens, as we are expending this karma which we brought in a bag, we also start adding, we do a lot of mischief, knowingly, unknowingly. So at the end of the janma, instead of reducing this balance, we would have freshly gathered a lot more. That is called agami. Agami means future. So we have already deposited more for the future, which means this additional karma goes into the tank now. That is called agami karma, and what it is there is called sanchita karma. That's why he is asking, iha sanchitam karma Na bunjita, the tank will remain. Therefore, after this body is dropped, the tank still has karma. Therefore, we have to come again. We may take another body. So, the body is different, but the person is the same. And the only continuity for this person is the karma. Agami Sanchita and Prarabdha karma. So, that is what it is. So, that is another reason. In fact, that is why we always find it. Initially, we don't even take ownership of any of our body. You just watch this small child, it doesn't even know that it's his eye. Many times it says that eye. It doesn't get the vocabulary right because it doesn't know. And hand and eyes are not coordinated because it has not taken charge of any of those. The freshly born child is pure Brahman in some ways. It hasn't taken anything. We inject Ajnana into them over 2-3 years and then finally get them on the same board. Then it starts picking all that and say, oh, it is mine and so on and so forth. So that kind of a thing happened. So what he is saying, that karma will flow across Janma. If karma flows across Janma, same person has to actually be responsible for it. You cannot say X did a mischief and Y got the result. By seeing the body, you cannot say this body is different from that body, therefore that person is different from this person is not possible. I am responsible for what I did. Therefore, I remain throughout. The body doesn't remain. Although the body looks different, you just chop it off. That is more for expending this karma. We take the body. I am other than the body. Therefore, body is not me. So that's what he says, that Purva Janmani Asan Etad Janma Sampadayet Katam. If you are not there in the last Janma, why were you born and then went through a lot of trouble? Or even went through a lot of good things? There must be reason behind it. That comes from the previous. So that is what he says. And also he says, Iha Sanchitam Karma Nabunjita Bhavi Janmani. If you say body is me, since body is gone, I am also gone. That means this karma is now bad debts. You cannot write off. There is no bad debts written off possible here. Therefore, for all these reasons, Vidyaranya says that no, you are not the body. So he gives two examples, two arguments, and he says that therefore you are not the body. You are something more than, other than the body. So that is what it is. Now, so with this he has put the Annamaya Kosha away from us. But then there are three cardinal principles about body we should remember. Now that this is told, we should remember these three important cardinal principles about the body. One is I am not the body, which is what he has taken 2 shlokas to explain. I am not the body. That is what he was trying to say. Then the second one is the body is not mine. The body is not mine is different from I am not the body. Body is not mine. Why? Because did you manufacture the body? You did not. Did you have the raw material? You did not. Everything came from Prakriti. Everything came from Annam. It came through the Annam. Annat bhuta nijayante jatan annena vardante. That's what Taittiriya Upanishad anyway says. And that's the truth. The Father took the food and through that we came and etc. etc. Therefore, the body is not mine. The body is not mine has a very serious meaning. It is like, there is a book and I have borrowed the book from someone. So I have to give it back carefully. I can't tear it, I can't mutilate it, I can't dirty it and so on. So body is not mine means your abhimana for the body is only to the extent of your abhimana for keeping your book that you borrowed properly until you returned it back. Not beyond that. So that is the level of abhimana that we should have. It is not udasina. If you do udasina, body is not mine. And if you do udasina, it is like tearing this book left, right, center and throwing it at the face of people who gave. That's a very uncivilized and uncourteous way. Nobody does it. So I am not the body. Body is not mine. The third principle is body is not for me. Paropakaraya idam shariram. That is what our Sanatan Dharma says. Of course, we will use it for our Vyavahara, but it is also for Loka Sangraha. So when we dismiss Annamaya Kosha, when we say that I am not the Annamaya Kosha, we dismiss it with these three cardinal principles in mind. We should remember that. I am not the body is not mine, the body is not for me. With that, if we use the body, we will use it with a lot of Viveka. We will use it with a lot of sense in carrying this body as long as we have to carry in this Janma, and we drop it. And that is why this Antim Kriya is done, is a very holy act in this country. Because the Antim Kriya for a departed person is a Kriya of returning back the Sharira to Annam, to Prakriti. With folded hands, thank you, you gave this body, which my father, mother, whatever, whoever we are doing, because that's all, Atman has gone. But people who are there must do it with that sense of, that is the approach to Antim Kriya. That I am returned, because the body is not mine is the principle. So I am giving it with folded hands. Thank you for all that you gave. I am returning it back. That makes the whole exercise holy. We will have emotions, but then we will have a layer of wisdom and holy attitude to the whole act. That's why the Shraddha Karyas are all considered very great in this country. Because it is a very holy act. Sense of gratitude is also there, part of Shraddha, etc., etc. So that is the implication of that, and that is how we actually go about doing it. Not blindly thinking body is mine, which the Charvakas anyway do. Charvakas think they are the people who think single Janma. So Basmi Kritasya Bhutasya Punaragamanam Kutaha. Where from it is going to come? Enjoy, just enjoy and go. Rinam Kritva Gritam Pibet. You take loan and then enjoy life. Fry everything in ghee. If you don't have money, take some loan and enjoy it. That is not logical. That is not sensible. And the only sensible thing is to know that I am not the body, and still know that I have to handle the body. This is like a leased accommodation. So one day we have to vacate. The lease term is over. When the Janma is over, the lease term is over. So you vacate and go. And then look for the next building and the next apartment. Thodi der ke baad, So you go and then join that new apartment, new body. That is the approach to life. The Atman is the continuous thing. The body will come and go. So with these two shlokas, Vidyaranya Swami says, you are not Annamaya. You are not Annam, you are not Annamaya. It's only a kosha for you. It is only an envelope. So we finish the first envelope. Then he takes us to the second. But this whole idea of going and coming, how did this Atman go and then come back? This question is still, we have not answered. We only said there is a Punarjanma, there is all these we are talking. So that our Upanishads and all talk very well. And so, we can talk all these better today than 30-40 years back. As I was saying, money is not in any material format. It is all available all over the place. You just have the right medium, you can capture it. With the UPI, you can do Diparadhana, or you can do a net banking. Money will suddenly appear, money will go, and so on. In the same way, what we are saying is, it's like demat. Nowadays, no stocks, no things are kept in a material form. So the Atman becomes demat. So it's now slipped and it is all over the place. Now, how does it come back? Although he has not said it, but since in this context, so in Chandogya there is this re-entry issue is being discussed. Abram bhutva megho bhavati. Abram is white cloud. So it becomes white cloud, it gets into white cloud. And from the white cloud, it gets into the dark cloud, which is a rain-bearing cloud. That is called Mega. So Abram bhutva megho bhavati. Megho bhutva pravarshati. It actually rains. And because, a dark cloud rains, so this Atman gets into the dark cloud. So the medium is the dark cloud. Now the medium is the rain. So through that, tat iha Vrihi yava oshadi vanaspataya tilamashaha iti. So it gets into, turdal and, tila and masha and all this thing. All these pulses and every food articles. Now, nobody can say, no, no, this is all Maya Jal. You don't have to get out of your kitchen. To know this principle, you go only step into the kitchen. You bought a brand new, tur dal and then kept it in your dabba. After 2 months, one day you open it, a lot of insects. The tur dal is all holes are drilled. I don't know who is drilling the hole. Finally, fellows start coming out. So what does it say? It says life always comes through only food. That is what is being told there. Life always comes through a food. We also have to come through a food. So it is not Mayajal. We have to connect it like that. We have to understand it. So he says, Vrihi yava oshadi vanaspataya tilamashaha iti jayante. They all, this Atman gets into some food article. Because this Atman has seen in the previous Janma things come only through the food article. So the Atman also gets into the food article. Okay. Then it says, Yo ha atram atti. So somebody eats it, so it gets into a person now. It goes through the food and then it gets into the person. Yo reta ha sinchati. So that is deposited as the seed in the womb of a woman by the father. Reta ha sinchati. Tad bhuya eva bhavati. This person comes again. So Chandogya Upanishad explains all these. There are many mantras. Essentially, the Janma comes to an end. One Janma is over. Then you have to take stock of the karma. What is happening to your tank? This tank that I am talking about, is it empty? What is there? And so on. So there is one path called Uttarayana. I'm not going to talk about it in detail because just in this context I wanted to say it is a path of no return. That is called Uttarayana. Whereas the path of Dakshinayana is the return path which we are talking about. So this Atman, after it leaves this, it goes to Pitraloka, from there it goes to Antariksha, interspace, it goes to moon, it goes to Devaloka, and again after all the Punya karmas are all consumed and enjoyed and so on, it comes to Antariksham, and then it gets into that smoke and white cloud and black cloud and rain and food. Everything has happened and gets into the Retas, and then finally we have arrived at the maternity block. Time has arrived, right? Now at that time, depending upon whether the kind of karma that you brought is depending upon what is the type of karma you brought, you take birth as different beings in this world. So this is the path. So what this is establishing is we have a continuity. The Punarjanma is established. Therefore body becomes irrelevant now. It is a temporary leased accommodation. That is what Vidyaranya is saying, that we are no longer the body. Then he moves on. So Annam cannot be Brahman. Why Annam cannot be Brahman? Because anything physical, Annam is physical, Stula Sharira, anything physical, including this building, anything physical goes through 6 stages of Vikara. That is a universal rule. Whether it is a human being's body, whether it is this building, take this building. So there is a first stage called Asti, Astitva. That went to the doctor confirmed that this lady is on the family way. Astitva established. The building plan has been put. We know that there is going to be a ceiling like this, there is a size of the room, pillar is going to be here, flooring is going to be like this. That is called Astitva. Any physical will go through all these. Second is Jayate. The child is born, the building is ready, somebody came and then cut the ribbon and opened the building. That is called Jayate. Then Vardhayate. We eat the food and then just now we said Annat Bhutani Jayante Jatan Annena Vardhante. So we eat the food and then we grow. This building also grows. How? First nobody used it. Then more and more usage started happening. That is the growth here. You don't get this block. You have to, probably, book it 6 months in advance. The building has got so much use. So Vardhanam has happened. Vardhayate. Then Parinamate. We keep changing. We don't look the same. As we keep growing, we keep changing. The building also changes. You add one more shelf, you remove this, you added one more light. There was a stain which happened, this floor was changed. So Parinama happens. Parinamate. That is the fourth. Then Sirshyate. It starts deteriorating. The hairs start going grey. The skins start shrinking. So it is all sort of on its way. That happens to the building also. It starts shaking, it starts leaking, etc., etc. So it has gone through its cycle. And then Nashyati atava Mriyate. One day you pull down this structure because it is very risky to continue. The Atman drops the body. So anything which goes through such changes cannot be Brahman. Brahman does not undergo change. Therefore, this cannot be Brahman. That is also, one can say, that which changes is not Satyam. There is difference between Sat and Satyam. Sat is the isness. We say table is there, chair is there, sofa is there, light is there. That isness is Sat. But light is not there in the night. The sofa is not there next year. It's all broken and gone. That is not Satyam. Means it exists in Bhutakala, Vartamana Kala and Bhavishyat Kala. All the time something must exist. That is called Satyam. Anyway, all that we are also seeing towards the end, some more discussions are there. So therefore, anything which is not Satyam cannot be Brahman. Body is Sat, but not Satyam. Body drops after a while. It is not Satyam. It is only Sat. It has an existence. That's all. The isness is there for a while. That's all. And that which changes will only be a karyam. It cannot be a karanam. Wood is a karanam. The whole furniture set is karya. A block of gold is karanam. The instrument, so many ornaments that we make are all karya. Karya will go. You can melt all the ornaments, you will end up with gold finally. Karya cannot remain. Karana has to remain forever. So this Deha is only a Karya, it is not a Karana. Therefore, it cannot be Brahman. So with all these, we can understand that we are not Annamaya. So that part is over. Dhyaranya says, no, we are not, I am not the Annamaya. I may need it like an instrument for Vyavaharartham. It may be useful to do something. But I am not that. Just because I am using an instrument, I do not become the instrument. I am only just using it. That's all. Then he goes to the next sloka. Okay. Purno dehe balam yechan. Nakshanam yapravartakaha. Akshanam yapravartakaha. Vayu pranamayo nasau. Atma chaitanya varjanat. Purno dehe. He says, now there is this stula. Body is the most thickest. So inside the body, it is filled with air. That's why morning, when they did the yoga class, they said inhale, you find it is expanding. Exhale, the stomach is contracting. That means there is a balloon which is going up and down. Because this body is just filled with some, there is some carbon and oxygen, then there is a process of carbon dioxide, then you have to throw it out, again take oxygen. That is what it says. This deha is now filled with air, filled with something. Purna, complete, it is filled. That's why if somebody is dead, there is no air, everything is flat. That's all. There is no bulging of the stomach happening anymore. So therefore, as long as we are living, it is filled with air, and that is the next layer. And Only if you take something and if you have to put something inside it, that should be subtler than that. You can't put something stouter than that, thicker than that into it. So therefore now pranamaya, if it filling the annamaya, pranamaya must be subtler than the annamaya. So purno dehe balam yachan, it gives the balam. The whole vitality and the actions that we are doing is caused by the prana. See, you have a fan. Fan cannot run by itself. It has a capacity to run provided there is an electricity. Moment you connect it to the electricity, the fan starts running. Therefore, you need something to make it motive. Otherwise, the body is jada. That's why, morning they said, put your hand up and down. Now, for a dead body, if you take the hand out, tuck, it will fall. You cannot stand because there is no this motive force which is running through the system. It is just the jada. So everything that we do, somebody says something very aggressively, I shout back, or I go for a fight. Everything prana is giving the motive power. Prana gives that energy and action to something which is capable of action but not actioning. The deha is jada. You need something to pass through it. So that is why he says balam yachan. It gives the bala. It gives the energy and the vitality to make it look alive, look live. That's why you bring a jamun, maybe my eye opens wide, open. Maybe I like jamun, so I see. You bring a jamun to a dead body, nothing happens to the eye. So all the eye moving, muscles moving, which we talked about, everything is because of this energy which is flowing through the system, right? That's why he says yachan akshanam yaha pravartakaha. He is the one which is making the eyes to move here and there. That is the energy which is flexing the muscles. Those 6 muscles which are here and there on sides of the lens, which makes the lens contract and shrink depending upon the focus that we need and so on. So that's what he's saying. Yachan akshanam yaha pravartakaha vayuhu. After all, the medium is only gas. It is oxygen, carbon dioxide, all those combinations are there. It is only vayu. Vayuhu pranamaya. So the pranamaya is nothing but vayu. And what does it do? It provides energy. It activates the whole thing. It gives the force to do whatever has to be done. Just because it is giving the force, you cannot say I am that. It is again one instrument. It is another nice gadget that is available to us to do what we want to do, because we can choose not to do anything also. At that time, that force may not be required. You can be in samadhi. All that you can put it down. So it is only a gadget. You can't say I am that. Na asau atma. That's how it is says nasavatma. The asau and akara and aukara becomes vakara. That's why that it is coming like that. Na asau atma. The word asau is very interesting in Sanskrit. In Sanskrit we have such a beautiful language. In English we can only say he. Whereas in Sanskrit we can say he in 4 ways. There are 4 ways you can say he. Okay, I will take a Pullinga example. You have a Strilinga and an Apumsalinga, equivalent words are there. The first thing you can say is I am. He, when I say I am, he is at an arm's reach for me. He is just by my side. So if you have to point to somebody like that, we will use the word I am. That is the first usage of he. Then let's say there is somebody sitting at the end of the room. He's at a calling distance. So I can say Yeshaha. Yeshaha means the he who is at a calling distance for me. If you want to refer to him, you can say Yeshaha. He is sitting here, so I can say Yeshaha because he is at a calling distance to me. If I have to refer to him, I have to use Yeshaha, not I am. Be very close only, I should say I am. Otherwise, Yeshaha. Then there is a third he called Asau. That Asau is coming here. Asau Atma. Asau means, every day in Sandhyavandana mantra, we say Asau Adityo Brahma. Surya, the Aditya can be seen. You can't talk, but he's not at a talking kind of a plane, but I can see. Okay, you can say, asau vrikshaha, you can say, I am able to see trees from here. So the third he is that which is in the line of sight, but not, you can't talk like that or, call or anything, fairly distant, but at a line of sight. The sun is at the line of sight. The Atma is also, I can't talk to it, but I know it is there. That's why I say aso. That's why you hear the word aso is coming. Then there is a last he, it is called saha. For example, my brother is in Chennai. I say saha Ramanathaha Chennai Nagare Asti. I can't talk to him, I can't see him also. Today we can have a phone and talk. What I meant was, he is not in my line of sight. To say, we say he, saha. So Sanskrit is such a beautiful language. It's highly communicative. So here it uses asau, na asau atma. This one that you can see meaning you feel. Prana you are able to feel. That is not the atma, na asau atma. Why? He says Chaitanya Varjanat. It is Jada. That's why when the Atma goes, it's just, it is actually Jada. It is not, although it energizes, it doesn't have consciousness. Jada in the sense, it is not Chit. There is no Chaitanya there. It's all not there. Not only this, there are many other ways also we can establish it is not me. Deep sleep. Sushupti, Avastha. Deep sleep, we are sleeping. We are nowadays told that, our oxygenization level should be at least 90. After Corona, we got to know all these SpO2, everybody puts and sees and all that. Up to 90, things are okay. 80 also you can manage. Below 80 is very risky. Oxygenization level should not go below 80. If it goes below 60, it's a matter of an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, like that. That's all. We cannot sustain. But we are told that when you are in deep sleep, right, the oxygenation level can go as low as 30. We don't die, which means we don't need it. We exist independent of it. That is what it is showing. It is only an instrument to do a few things. See, if there are, let's say, a huge building, we have some 20 ACs, some 30 fans and bulbs and so on, then actually we need a bigger power. The peak load, the load that you require is much higher. Suppose if you switch off all these lights and all that, the power required is very, very low. Same thing is happening. If you don't want anything, you can switch off everything. You don't need the power also. You will still exist. Means things will go on. You want to sit in a pitch dark room, you don't need any of that. When you want, you can switch on everything. Our pranamaya is playing that kind of a role. When it is required, it is fully open. We can exist without that also. There are people who have been in samadhi, in all these, yoga practices, hatha yoga practices, they bury themselves below the ground, come back after 8 months. All these kinds of things are possible. So, which clearly shows that prana is not me. It is something other than me. It may be yet another instrument. It may be one more instrument which will help me to do things. So he says, Chaitanya Varjanat. There is no Chaitanya there. Swami Vivekananda used to say, this chit is so peculiar. He used to say, there is a railway track. In the railway track, there are these two rails, no? Swami Vivekananda, somewhere I have read, he says, put a stone on one, put a small little worm or insect on the other. Train comes. When the train runs on the rail and coming, kilometer ahead of it, the vibrations start traveling through the rail. Sound travels through the rail also, communicates through the rail. So he says, when the sound and vibration happens, this small little insect will just get out of the rail. It has the chit. Whereas this stone will remain, it will be crushed to powder. So that is the difference between chit. Consciousness is a very unique property. This prana does not have consciousness. It is yet another instrument for us. It can make things a little easy for us. It is one more instrument. Therefore, Chaitanya Varjanat na asau Atma. Your pranamaya is also not you, because you seem to exist outside of it. You seem to be a little different from it. So, second envelope also you throw. The vastu is not to be found. We don't need it. That's why he says, Vayuhu pranamaya. The Vayu, I said maya pratyaya is vikara. So it has modified itself into prana. The oxygen comes in and it modifies into prana. Just like we took food. We took carrots and so our body is not full of carrots and cauliflowers and potatoes. It has been converted into Annamaya. The Anna has become Annamaya. The same way, that's why it says Vayuhu Pranamaya. The Vayu has become a Pranamaya, which means we have taken it and converted it into something else. Now this prana, in Prashnopanishad, because we should understand this prana part of it also, this prana has actually panchaprana. We use these terms. We say prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. Every day when they take food, they are supposed to tell all these. Pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha and all that. Why? We should understand that. So Prashnopanishad is 6 sishyas, each sishya asking one question which forms one chapter. So there is a third chapter. The third sishya asked Pipalada, Sir, what is all this prana? Then they say prana, apana and all, what is all this? He asks. So the Rishi, 10 mantras, just 10 mantras. In the 10 mantras, so beautifully he explains concepts which are all very deep. Even in that, the first 3 mantras are only preamble. Your question is good. He asks the question, what is the first mantra? Then the Rishi says, your question is very good. It is worthy of a reply. I will give you a reply. All these formalities are done in the first 2 mantras. The real concept starts from the 3rd mantra to 10th mantra. That's all. And he starts so beautifully in the 3rd mantra. He says, there is a large territory. The king cannot administer the whole territory. You can't sit in Delhi and then, do what's happening, nonsense happening in Tamil Nadu. It's difficult. So he says, I cannot administer the whole my territory. I will appoint now people. They say delegation, decentralization, all those they are talking in modern parlance. In Prashnopanishad it is available. He says, I cannot administer the whole thing. So I will now create departments. I can't do everything, I will create departments. But I am the CEO. The prana is the CEO. And each one of them have an area of control. Otherwise it will be chaos. If the marketing man pokes into finance, the finance man pokes into operations, it will be chaos. You have to give responsibilities, give control, leave them to do that job. Prashnopanishad says that is how the prana also operates. It says, prana says, I will be in the Mukhamandala. I will not go here and there. I am here only. I am the CEO. I will be at the top. I will be at the head. Symbolically it is showing like that. So he says, I will be at the top. Okay. And he says, then I will, overall responsibility, everything I will take. Then comes the Madhya Pradesh. So the second one is called Samana. That happens in the center part of our body. It doesn't go here and there. It works only in the center part. The liver, the small intestine, large intestine, the whole digestive system. So that's where the Anna becomes Annamaya. The food is taken, all complex processes that has to happen, all that happen, and the food is converted into useful proteins and energy, fat and etc. etc. So that is the second one. So that is called Samana. Then we have what is called Vyana. Vyana in Prashnopanishad, it says there are 100 nerves, main nerves. From each one of them 101 nerves start. So now 100 into 101. From each of that 72,000 starts. So 100 into 101 into 72,000, that many roots are laid out now in the body. Modern science, medicine also seems to say something like that. So the food has to be transported now. You need logistics and supply chain management. That is what Vyana is. It carries all the food because the oxygen doesn't go to the blood, to the brain. You'll have hemorrhage. So, it has to carry it through the blood. It has to carry, the nervous system carries the control signals, logical signals, motor signals. Food is carried through the blood system. Everything is done by the nervous system. Arteries, veins and nerves together form the Vyana. So that takes everything around. It is a complete distribution mechanism that we have in our body. So that is Vyana. Then we have what is called Apana. The Apana says will operate on the lower part of the body. It is the anus and the Mutra Visarjan, that area. It's only lower part. And what does it do? It is quality control, waste disposal. If you don't dispose waste for 4 days, you know what will happen. You'll go to a doctor. The whole system will kharab ho jayega. We all know that. So we need a quality control, maintenance and waste disposal. And that is Apana, Apana Vayu. Look at the beauty of what is happening in our body itself. 4 are over. Prana, Apana, Vyana, Samana is over. There is this another fellow by name Udana. This Udana is a very, very important and a very beautiful concept. Udana plays 2 roles. Ut in Sanskrit means up, which is going up is called Ut. So Udana has 2 roles. One is, now if the Atman wants to drop this body, we said body is not the I. If the prarabdha karma is over, the body has to be dropped. It is of no use. You have to drop it. That's what Krishna says, Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya navani grinnati naroparani tata jirnani dehani vihaya anyani deha, That's what he says. So just this body has become jirna. So you have to now drop it. Now if you drop it, this prana will be stuck inside. You have to do something about it. So what prana says to Udana, you have to rescue me from here. You have only one job, strategic role. Strategic role is you have to pull me out. Only if you pull me out, I will survive. Therefore, when death happens, the prana is taken out by, it escapes in the form of Udana. That's how we have to understand. The prana, the jivan escapes through Udana because prana itself is going to get dropped now. So this is in companies also they say you want emergency planning, rescue planning, contingency planning, all kinds of things they talk. That is what Udana is doing. That is the strategic role that Udana does. Udana also does a tactical role, day to day. As if the micron thin hair which gets onto your tongue, you get very uncomfortable. You want to take it out. After it is micron thin, why don't you swallow? It doesn't happen like that. We get so restless. We try to put our hand or spit or something like that. Or if we took some food has become poisonous. Sometimes happens. There is a food poisoning that happens. If food becomes poisonous, then if it is in the smaller intestine, it has not gone into the Madhya Pradesh, then it will be thrown out. You have to vomit. Or if it has passed through it and got into the larger intestine, you have to purge it. If you can't do both also, you have to mount fever. Because the whole system must be alerted that some thief has come. So it is security, control. It is control and security. That is the day-to-day job for Udana. But the most important role for Udana is take this Atman out of this body, because body will perish. Atman will not perish. I will not perish. My body will perish. That is the reason why you need a Udana. So the prana, samana, everything will also drop. When the Maharaja, there is a nice, in Atmabodha we saw a nice shloka. Just as the king comes and sits in the Simhasana, moment the king comes and sits in the Simhasana, everybody starts talking. Because he has arrived. That one shloka was like that in Atmabodha, if you remember. If the king goes, everything goes. So when the Atman exits, prana will also go. And that's why, the Udana Prana is become, helpless. So he said to Udana, before I go, you pull this out, then I will drop. So Prana is temporary. Apana, Vyana, everything is temporary. Therefore, anything temporary cannot be I. I have to travel across Janmas and go. I have a job to accomplish. I have a tank of karma. I have to do something about it. Therefore, I cannot run away. So, therefore, I cannot be prana also. Although these pancha pranas are more for vyavahara, it is more for dealing with the world. So, it is only an instrument. Just as body is an instrument, the prana is also an instrument. It is of no use for us. In the sense, it is not permanent. It is of use temporarily. It is not permanent. It will not remain forever. It will drop one day. When the Maharaja goes, everybody will go. So it's required. Moment Chief Minister comes for inauguration. Before he comes, every 10 meters one policeman is standing. Moment he goes, before he goes, these fellows go. The place all become completely drained, and that is what it is. That's the power of Atman. The Atman goes, everybody goes. Therefore, I am not Pranamaya anymore. So that also is established. So two envelopes are opened. We don't see the Vastu. Prana is not Brahman, it is Jada, which I already said. And it's only an effect. It is not, it has a beginning and so it will have an end. Therefore, all these are not Brahma Lakshanas, so they cannot be Brahman and so on. Now he goes to the third kosha, which is Manomaya kosha. Ahantam mamatam dehe gehadau chakaroti yaha kamad vyavastaya bhrantaha nasavatma manomayah. Ahantam mamatam dehe guhadaucha gehadaucha karoti yaha. There is one fellow who we all have a sense of entitlement. I. There is a feeling of ahankar. I. The question is where from this I came? Mine. Suddenly we say mine. This is all mine. That's what I was earlier saying. The child does not own anything. Child has full jnana before it came. We told, no, this is your eye. The parents, show me where is your eye, which is your hand, show me what is your ear, what is your teeth. Slowly we do what is called adhyasa. Shankaracharya talks about it as adhyasa. Aropana. All these happen. So the child is made into an ignorant lot in where parents day night finish the child. Within moment the child starts beginning to understand. In 6 months, oh, my child knows how to show the eye, how to show the thing. It says apples, it says everything is over. In about 1.5 years. So the child initially took its hands off. It said none of the koshas are mine. That's what the child started with. So, the example there is, I came here yesterday morning at 9 o'clock with a big suitcase. Suitcase is full of items. Now what happens is, as soon as we come, we just leave the suitcase at one end. We are just talking to people, 15-20 minutes, oh, if the journey is fine, everything is fine, etc., etc. We talk all that. After 15-20 minutes, we have to brush the teeth. So we open the bag. The prarabdha bag is open now. First item is taken out. We take the toothpaste and the toothbrush, because that is what we need. Beyond that, we don't touch. The child does exactly the same way. When it was born, it never opened the box. It owned nothing. Slowly we injected, and it said, oh, I have to now, it is mine and I have to do something. So after 1 hour, we open the toiletry and take the soap because we want to take bath. Then we open the dabba and take about half an hour to decide which dress to wear, and finally we come to a conclusion and take that dress also. In about 4 days, the petty is empty. All items have come out. This is how we lead our life. This is exactly how we lead our life. The child owns nothing. It is Parabrahman. It is completely disassociated from everything in its life. Now what happens is, slowly it starts ahamta and mamata. Now who is doing it? There is one fellow appointed to do only that. He is called Manomaya. That is, so if you ask what is this Manas? Manas is one instrument. Its job is to say, you take credit for everything. Ahata and mamata, dehe, everything. And Gehado, house, this is my house, this is my laptop, my mobile, this is my shirt, this is my pen. That's why if you want my pen, I'll keep the cap and give you the pen, so that it comes back safely. So we deeply inculcate this idea, and this idea that we deeply inculcate comes from the mind. This is the only job. The mind does only this. It tries to map everything and say, it is mine. The sense of entitlement, sense of agency. Both entitlement and agency. It's all mine. That's what, that's the ahata and mamata. So it says everything is mine. Right? So the definition of mind, sankalpa vikalpamanam manaha is what is the definition. The mind does either sankalpa or vikalpa. Sankalpa is I want this, and the list keeps on increasing. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want to achieve this. It's all continuous dreaming, if you may want to say. It's a continuous dreaming process that we do. That I want this, and so on. That is called sankalpa. Then there is something called vikalpa. Vikalpa is, why is it happening? To continuously evaluate what happened in life. I mean, we all have a problem. An uncultured persons, what is the habit? Take every moment and sit on value judgment. Why did it happen to me? Why did it happen to him? You are not even bothered about you. You bother about him.
Why did it not happen to him?
Why did some good thing happen to him? Or why did some bad thing not happen to him? Right? So the mind always has this problem. It keeps on evaluating. Constantly. Continuously it keeps evaluating all the time. That is a vikalpa. Sankalpa vikalpa manam manaha. That's why it says, all the time it is saying, this is the psychology of the people. When great success happens, nobody is required. Everything is hard work. I put, how much of hard work I put. The students still, when they get the first time, I studied 18 hours. Nobody said my mother was behind me. Occasionally they say as a formality. Not genuinely, they don't understand. Nobody said, my parents are behind. How much they have invested on me, which has culminated like this. Nobody says like that. I'm not blaming them. They don't understand that part because we have not told them. And we have grown this psychology from childhood. When success happens, me. Ahankara is at its best. Everything is because of me. Hard work. I really worked hard. When failure happens, suddenly the whole world comes. Everybody has schemed against me. I don't know from where so many people came. In success, nobody came. When failure happens, everybody has come into the picture. And you say, it is all because of them. They didn't allow me. That's why did it not happen to him? Why did it only happen to me? And God has been kind. He lost the opportunity for 11 coconuts. We also, have transaction with the God. We want the job to be done before breaking the coconut. The job is not done, no coconut, sorry. So we blame the God also. We blame the whole world when failure happens or when bad things happen. When good things happen, we don't need anybody. All these are job of the mind. Because the mind has this mamata and ahamta. That sense of agency and entitlement. Therefore, it says, no. This is done by one gadget called mind. Again, it's only a gadget. Its job is to constantly manufacture thoughts. When I talk about this to my students, I actually show them a slide. I show them a slide just to tell the power of mind. And I keep reading that slide. I was in Chicago 14 years back. I went to a temple and met Lakshmi there. That reminded me of the Lakshmi in the next street. I went to Lakshmi's house and then she served masala dosa. Masala dosa contains onions. Onions are taboo for some people. Onion prices went up, and then the BJP government fell in Delhi in the next election. Madan Lal Khurana actually last some 25 years back, just on onion price. Price rise is very difficult to handle. My Sarwan Maid is demanding too much salary. You see where it is going. And I ask them, I tell them, you know what is this? This is the set of thoughts that are coming out of my mind which I have written. Yeah, imagine like that. All this is in 1 nanosecond. The mind is agitated in 1 nanosecond, this much will come. As I am talking to you, I can go to CS Towers in Chicago and go to the 110th floor and see the city. Or from there, in no time, I will go to Singapore and then I will be sitting somewhere in that aquarium or somewhere. This is mind. And this is a super gadget which the God has given. I don't think anybody can manufacture such a gadget. We are all Alpajnas. He is Sarvajna. He has designed and manufactured a gadget and given to us without operations manual. Imagine you have a mobile. Absolutely no operations manual. What will you do? You keep on tampering it. And after you keep on tampering it, you slowly understand. You understood something. Whether that is the right thing, we do not know. You understood this is the way to use. That is how we are using our mind. It's absolutely, we have not looked for the right operations manual. These scriptures are operation manual. The yoga that we do is an operations manual on mind. We don't seem to bother about any of those. It is just a gadget. And we use the gadget.
So Taittiriya Upanishad also gives like Rage Shiraha, Samaiva Shiraha, Dakshina Paksha.
Sama Uttara Paksha, yes. All that is, every kosha is portrayed like a bird and.
That seems to be the operation manual for the Vedas seems to be the operation manual.
Yes, all those are part of it. Yes, in the Taittiriya Upanishad lectures, I have talked about it in detail. So, what really happens is, we are using the most powerful gadget known to mankind without an operations manual. We don't even seem to bother about it. That's why it is creating a ruckus for us. We have left all our control to the gadget. So much so, we have this mind giving the control to the mind. I am seeing too much now. Walking. People go walking in the morning. I think they should simply enjoy walking. Suddenly they have one watch, and then after walking they look at 3,400 and some 75 or something. Oh, there are 1,400 and you have to do some arithmetic also. Some 5,500 steps they have to reach. Oh, another 1,500 steps I have to finish. Tension ho gaya. So an enjoyable activity of walking has been completely destroyed today. An enjoyable activity of living from morning to evening has been completely destroyed. I will take a photo in nice at the background of Himalayas, put it into my WhatsApp and see how many people are showing thumbs up. If people are not putting thumbs up, my life is miserable. What is this here? You decide whether I should be happy or not. I mean, that is very pathetic. If that's the way we have to live, we have to rethink whether we want to live like that. You cannot decide my happiness. I should decide my happiness. How can you decide my happiness? Today we have moved to that level. We have thrown everything outside. We have thrown everything outside and they decide what to do and the mind is simply going after that. So the gadget is badly being used. That is what is happening today. That's why he says, Kamat avastaya brantah. This desire is rattling you like anything. That's why thoughts go all over the place. It creates a ruckus for you. That's why in yoga, the first sutra it says chitta vritti nirodha. The vritti, it keeps on, the thoughts goes on and on and on. It just destroys you if you leave the entire control to the mind. And that which keeps on changing. I am very happy in the morning, 8 o'clock. At 8:45 I am upset. At night 9:30 I am again happy. At 10:30 I am in deep depression. If I have to identify myself to that entity which keeps on changing by the stroke of a button or something, again that's a poor description of me. I like you today, I don't like you tomorrow. Then I like you day after tomorrow anyway. So this kind of going back and forth, if that is what I have to identify myself with, I have a deep problem. Because it is all chanchala. That's what, chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. In Gita, he says it's all the time going all over the place. How can I say I am that? If you agree to that, you are in deep trouble. You have no idea what you are and where you are going. And if that is the one, I will go all over and start from who am I. I am not going to agree to it. And anything which changes is not I. This is a fundamental principle. That which changes every now and then. The mind must be used by us for our own benefit, for our own control, rather than just leaving it to someone. That's what in Gita also it says, Uddaret Atmana Atmanam Na Atmanam Avasadayet. Atmaiva Bandhuho Atmanam Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. The mind can be your friend, the mind can be your enemy. You decide. It is in your hands. Today we seem to give it up. We are given to some gadget put on our hand. We are given it to the number of thumbs up that has to happen in a picture that we put. We are completely become helpless. And with all that, if you want to say I am that, I am in deep trouble. So that is not possible, right? That's why in Manusmriti also he says, Manayeva Manushyanam Karanam Bandhamokshayoho. Your ability, your approach to life is dictated by a gadget. Better do something about the gadget. So all these descriptions very clearly shows that I am not the mind. One more reason. Mind is changing so much. You go by science. Change, if you have to know, you have to be in a stationary platform. Otherwise, how do I know change? I can't travel in a train, shut all the doors, and I don't even know whether the train is running or not. Moment you open the windows, if you see the trees running, then I understand, trees are running, therefore the train is running. So that also informs us that if I say my mind is vagary, my mind is chanchala, clearly it shows that you are standing on a fixed platform. Because you are standing on a fixed platform, you are witnessing the change. So now you are elsewhere, mind is elsewhere. Mind is something else you are watching. It's as though you are watching from a window. So therefore, how can I be that? So even if you use that logic of science, clearly it shows that we cannot be the mind. So that's why he says this Brantah. I am in Branti. They have drunk brandy. That's why they are in Branta. No, other word has come only from that. Brantah means one who is inebriated. Unmattah. That liquid if you take, you must have used the word only from that. Otherwise, how do they get? Brandy is Brantah. So, that is the way the word Branta has been used here. Brantah, Kamad Avastaya Brantah, Na Asau Atma. This is not Atma. This is only Manomaya. It is a certain Vikara. It's only a certain Vikara. So what he is saying? He is saying the third envelope is also not you. That means I have opened the third envelope, I don't find the Vastu there. Now we have to probably open the fourth envelope and see what is inside there. So the first Annamaya is also not me. Pranamaya is also not me. The Manomaya is also not me. So all the three has been dismissed. All the three may be required. I am not saying we don't need it. It is a gadget. Because Panini uses a beautiful definition for Karanam. He says Sadhakatamam Karanam. That which helps you to accomplish the job the best way is called an instrument. All these you can put it to good use for your self-evolution. Uddaret Atmana Atmanam. That you can do. They are only gadgets. They are not you are. So if you take that approach to that, it is not that we are going to give up life and then go elsewhere. Oh, I am nothing and nothing like that. We we deal the world with wisdom. We deal the world with a sense of understanding of what and what not. Our quality of our vyavahara will only change. Vyavahara will never vanish because this prarabdha will take you up to the end. But the quality of the vyavahara will change. How you do vyavahara will completely change. It's not that you will run away or something. I have seen some great, acharyas closely. Or they don't run away. All these are wrong ideas. You become everything you dismiss, and therefore you are very spiritual. It doesn't mean you stop. Nobody stops. They work with a great sense of understanding of the world. For outside, for us, we don't know. We may not know. We think they are ajnani, like ajnani, they are doing vyavahara. We do not know. An informed person looks the world in a particular way and then does vyavahara. So we will not run away from vyavahara. But then we will understand that these three envelopes, vastu is not to be found. So we have to continue our journey for further envelopes, that we will continue going forward. With this, we will close this discussion on the Manomaya, Annamaya, Pranamaya and Manomaya, all the T, and we will continue later.